So,
Yo, 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 good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Days of Power Plays Palace. It's your boy, man. We back again. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. So let's take a look at what we have here going on in our charts from yesterday. All right. So on yesterday, our goals was to try to see if SPY could reclaim the long above 737.64 with an entry at 737.70 to 738.30 with a stop below 736.20. Targets being 739.20, 740.79, and 742.80. And if we got rejection shortened to 737.20 to 737.64, we'll be looking for an entry around 737.20 to 737.90 if it stalls out with a stop above 739.20, with our targets being 736, 735.38, and 734. So let's look at the chart for. Boom! There is the chart. All right. So, as you can see, spot opened up here at 736.91, and it tried to do a little brief push. It didn't make it, and it started to pull back. But if you look over right before that, right here at 9 o'clock, you see SPY is in that 737 area, and it starts to reject. You get that final rejection here at 9:10. And I know, like I said, I put these charts, these projections up before the market opens, but in the end, what you're looking at is right there when the market's about to open 9:30, you saw that rejection there, and then you saw it start to work its way down. And it worked its way down all the way to 7:31. Came over, tried to go back up again, 7:33. Came back, retested, double bottom, bam, and it started to work its way back up. And started to work its way back up. A lot of people won't consider this an engulfment, but this pattern right here, one, two, that's three attempts, four across the bottom, and then you got this candle. That is a reversal pattern, reversal candle, and there it is. It starts to work its way back up. And it worked its way back up, all the way up to 738.84. So it was a beautiful, man, listen, that was some beautiful trade action right there. You had an opportunity to really do that. And let's look at the chart again. So you had an opportunity you could have got in, but you could have got in earlier. And again, what happened is it opened up below these levels. But if you saw that rejection around the 9 o'clock level, then you could have still been prepared to get in once it got into those buy range. And I know it opened right below that, but that was still an opportunity because from there it dropped $7. And if you were watching it and playing it, you could have also played it back the other way. So overall, I think that was a pretty good chart for yesterday. Now let's look at the chart for today. We'll be looking for a breakout long because the pre-market high is 740.89 currently. The pre-market low is 739.17. It's not really a big range, but you'll be looking for a breakout long between 740.89 with your entry around 741 to 741.70 with a stop below 739.50 with your targets being 743.20, 745.80 and 748.50. Now, if it rejects around the pre-market high, 740.50 to 740.89, you'd be looking for an entry around 740.50 to 741.20. If it stalls out with a stop above 742.80, targets being 739.20, 738.84, and 737. And so those will be the levels that you'll be looking at right there. And so that'll be something. So that's what we'll be looking at today. And that'll be our trade plan on the spot for today. We want to make sure that we stay very, very vigilant and disciplined. And I'm going to show you why. All right. So this is the pre-market this morning. As you can see, there's a gap up here. All right. At the end of the night, these things, the night overnight stops at 8 o'clock. So at 8 o'clock, SPY closed at 736.67. All right. It opens back up at 4 o'clock. So between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., when it reopened, there was a gap up. That gap up was about $3. So even though the pre-market range is kind of, not very wide at this moment, it's 8:14. So you had like a little over an hour or so, hour and 15 minutes before the market opens. So this could kind of reverse. So you watch it if you're looking at the chart be up. But what you're doing is you see this gap. If SPY breaks below this pre-market low, and like I said, it's still in the pre-market, so it could drop below this even within that next hour and 15 minutes because it's the pre-market. So, one big seller comes in, sells a lot of stock, that can really move the market. And so if it gets into this gap, it could realistically, man, it's not unrealistic, close this gap. Now, yesterday, when we were talking at the chart, I showed y'all that it was a gap yesterday morning. I said if it gets back in this gap, it could shoot back up to this area. So look at what happened yesterday. Even though it went away from that gap, bam, bam, bam. Once it got some momentum and it started to go, it closed that gap. See this gap? The top of this gap right here was at 737.64. So it actually closed that gap at the end of the day. It actually came back into that gap area and it started to close. It almost closed it because it opened up. The close was 739.13 and it reached 738.84. So it almost completely closed that gap. And so if you look at today, it actually opened up right above where that gap was, where that gap started yesterday. You see what I'm saying? So it could be going up, and that's also could be another sign of other things to come. So that's our trade plan for today on the spot, man. Be careful. You see that there, man? I used to see this when I first started trading and be like, ooh, especially with all this red right here. I'd be anticipating it running back down to 736, but don't be don't make it a guessing game where you don't have to. But yeah. But in the meantime, that's what we got for today, man. We out of here. Y'all be calm, stay disciplined, and let's make it happen. It's Power Plays Palace. Ah.